Good evening and happy Boxing Day to all of you viewers out there. I hope that the holiday season has been good to all of you so far. For this video today, thanks to my viewer Nick. Thanks again, my friend. This tip was amazing. I can't believe that this even exists. But there has been a jersey posted on eBay that is a Lady Liberty jersey design that's clearly a newer design that's been intended to be released at some point in the past 3 years as I'm filming this, because it has an Adidas collar and the jersey was actually dated as on one of its tags inside the jersey as being made in 2018. So are the New York Rangers possibly planning to launch a new third jersey maybe this season? Is this a prototype? I'm not going to make this as a prototype files video because I don't know what to think. But as we all know, last season, the New York Rangers did bring back the Lady Liberty logo with this reverse retro design. And unfortunately, I think that the New York Rangers took one of the coolest third jersey designs of the 1990s and the best looking alternate design that's a whole new idea for an original six team. I'm not just talking like a color swap such as what the Blackhawks did, and that was a great jersey in my opinion. I agree with those of you who feel that way too. But hang on. When it comes to teams, original six teams that went out of their way to create completely new ideas for alternate jerseys, I think the New York Rangers have made the best alternate design out of all of the original six teams when they brought out the original Lady Liberty jersey. When I saw this one, this to me was a half-finished, completely mediocre, ruined version of the original. Just a lesser, half-finished. To me, they took one of the cooler designs of the 1990s and the coolest, completely new take on an original six franchise's identity and ruined it with this uniform last season. Yeah, I know that's quite the roasting. But when you look at that and you compare it to the original, I mean, come on, folks. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Now, anyway, let's get to the point of the video today, the main point. This was found on eBay, on an eBay listing. Look at it. You see that Adidas collar? But notice the striping. Now, I've seen the actual listing, and what was interesting to me as well is that number one, okay, so I noticed that the number and lettering kit is essentially the exact kit from their home jersey, and it's not the slightly different version that was used with the Lady Liberty jersey of the 1990s or late 90s throughout the 2000s. So that's something that I noticed. But right away, the main thing that I noticed right away was the logo. Notice how the NYR abbreviation for New York Rangers is now in silver. And obviously, this is a Fanatics replica. You can clearly tell that this logo uses that unfortunate screen-printed material that Fanatics has elected to use for their breakaway replica jerseys. But notice the striping. Notice that there's a much bigger emphasis on white and silver on the sleeves of this jersey. And notice that the stripes are more traditional now compared to the original because they're straight across and not angled like they were when the original Lady Liberty jerseys came out in the late 90s. I say jerseys because for one season, there was a white flip of the classic navy blue Lady Liberty alternate. I think it is worthy of being called a classic alternate design because it is well known, and even to this day, there's lots of people that have been clamoring for the Rangers to bring it back. I know a lot of people were happy to see it back on the reverse retro jersey the Rangers wore last season. I mean, truth is, I don't love the Lady Liberty uniforms as much as a lot of people seem to, but I will say this. I would be okay with the Rangers bringing it back. I know how many people love it, and I agree with everybody who says that, you know, for an original six team, the idea that they created a completely new identity, they really did do a great job, in my opinion, overall, even though I still think the best third jersey they've ever worn was the Reebok era one that said New York on the front. I mean, for me, I'm more traditionalist especially when it comes to original 6 teams. I don't really like the idea of them flipping the script too much. So anyway, that's my view on it. I'm sure not everyone's going to disagree. But what's interesting to me is there's the front, and this is obviously the back. But this jersey, I wonder if maybe this was the jersey that was supposed to be brought out for the 2019-20 season. I actually made multiple videos discussing the Rangers because they were one of the 3 teams back in the 2019-20 season that actually were supposed to bring out a 3rd jersey alongside Detroit and Minnesota, who actually scrapped their plans for a 3rd jersey in the 2019-2020 season. So this jersey actually has a tag inside of it that's dated to 2018, and credit to the eBay lister for sharing this jersey with the world. I actually believe that either A, this design was the design coming out for the 2019-20 season, or B, maybe this was in fact a prototype reverse retro design. I have seen one other reverse retro prototype, which was the Bruins jersey, but with black sleeves instead of white sleeves, or white on the cuffs of the arms, or black on the cuffs of the arms instead of white, which they went with, unfortunately. Why? I don't know. The white on the ends of the yellow or the gold reverse retro jerseys was just not a good choice, in my opinion. But another thing that I also noticed too is that the New York Rangers logo on the shoulders is the Rangers' regular crest, their actual primary logo, rather than the modernized version of it that has been on the shoulders of every Lady Liberty design, including the reverse retro design that was worn last season. Now, I would not be surprised if what happened is that the Rangers elected to scrap this design, because obviously we know that usually for any jersey change or any new jersey design that makes its way through the NHL jersey grapevine, it takes 2 years to go through the process, to go through all the designs and all the logistics with Adidas. It's usually a 2-year process. That's what the teams say. That's not coming from me. I mean, I know I'm saying it, but what I'm saying is that the 2-year process window is what teams usually say is how long it takes to process a new uniform redesign for their home and away jerseys, or the addition of a new 3rd jersey, etc., or even a throwback. But I'm thinking it would not surprise me if this was going to be their 3rd jersey and then they elected to scrap it because they started working on the reverse retro program. We know that the reverse retro program was supposed to be for the 2020-21 season. Now, obviously, because of the pandemic, there was no 2020-21 season per se. Technically, it was just a 2021 season. So it would not surprise me one bit if this design was scrapped because of the early groundwork being made to create the reverse retro jersey program, which we saw all 31 of the NHL's teams last season. Obviously, Seattle just started this season. Last season, all 31 NHL teams debuted some sort of reverse retro design. It was a league-wide jersey program. So it would not surprise me if this jersey was scrapped in favor of this one, because they probably already figured, okay, we're going to be doing a reverse retro design anyway. Why don't we just wait another season, maybe tinker with the design a little bit and bring out something for the reverse retro program instead? I wouldn't be surprised if they figured, okay, well, at the time, instead of doing 2 Lady Liberty designs, let's just work on one and let's just go with that. So I also, to be honest, here's what I'm thinking now that I'm thinking about it. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers said, okay, let's make 2 Lady Liberty designs. Let's bring out this simple one for the reverse retro program. And in the next year or two, let's quietly work on either making this design the 3rd jersey going forward, or maybe we revisit this and tweak it a bit. I actually would not be surprised if at some point this is going to be the Rangers' 3rd jersey. I have a sneaking suspicion it could happen. Now, when is that going to happen? I don't know. It could be this season. I mean, the Adidas jersey catalogs are digital now, so we don't get to hear the information like we did before. But I don't think it's going to be for this season, or we probably would have heard something by now. But what I'm thinking is maybe as early as next season, the Rangers say, hey, we know that you fans out there love the Lady Liberty uniforms. We're going to give you a Lady Liberty third jersey. And maybe they bring this design out and actually make it a reality rather than a potential prototype. Or maybe they take this design and they tweak it a little bit and then bring it out. That wouldn't surprise me either. But I'm not sure whether to call this a prototype or to maybe call this a delayed launch of this design because of the reverse retro program. Obviously, the COVID-19 pandemic has turned everything into a giant cluster puck. I do my best to not use too much coarse language in my videos, so when I say cluster puck instead of cluster, you know what? You know what I mean. I know you do. But anyway, I actually like the significantly bigger silver and white striping. That silver sheen, that shimmery silver striping actually is exactly, basically, from my observation, what the Los Angeles Kings have really emphasized on their new white alternate jersey that was just unveiled for this season. So perhaps this is an early glimpse at something that's coming in soon. I actually can't see the Rangers not bringing this design out. This one you see here. Personally, I'm okay with it. I know how many people love the Lady Liberty uniforms, and if you do, I respect your opinion. Personally, I'd rather see the New York Rangers do a navy blue heritage uniform or bring the Reebok era one back that said New York on the front. That's my favorite Rangers third jersey of all time. But if they bring out a Lady Liberty jersey, I think that'd be cool too. But the one thing I wish that they would do if they bring the Liberty jerseys back is that they actually give it some waist striping. That's something that I think they should do. But anyway, is this a potential new third jersey for the Rangers? Is this a potential prototype? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this was scrapped because they started laying down the framework and the logistics to bring out the reverse retro program for the 2020-21 season, which obviously that got delayed to all being played in 2021 because of COVID. We know this. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers were thinking, okay, well, let's bring out a reverse retro design that's different. And then when fans want us to revisit, and if they really want us to bring out a Lady Liberty design, let's tweak it a bit more and we'll go with this. I actually have a funny sneaking suspicion this is actually legitimately a new third jersey for the Rangers. But like many times throughout my channel's history, I very well could be wrong. And there have been times in my channel's history where I've been wrong. I'm usually wrong more often than not on stuff like this. But I can't see that the Rangers not bringing the Lady Liberty jersey or design back in some way, shape, or form. And I think this would be a good way to do it. But anyways, folks, what do you think of this design? Do you think they'll actually bring it out? Do you think this is just a prototype? Honestly, I'm baffled. I don't know what to think. But I'm going to be honest. I can't see the Rangers not at some point using this exact design you see here. I just can't. It's too popular. And I think the Rangers know that it'll be a big money maker for them. But something else too. I want to say something else too. There was a Rangers Fanatics replica that was navy blue. And it said Rangers on the top and it had the player number below. Kind of basically the same way that the Dallas Stars had it early on in the Reebok era with those stupid white and black jerseys they had. And that was posted by Aesthetics, I believe, a year and a half ago. And maybe that was a prototype that they were considering too. So obviously that design came from somewhere, and I don't think Fanatics just made it to sell merchandise. I believe that was possibly a Winter Classic prototype. Even though I think that design at one point would have been a cool third jersey for a couple of seasons or so. But Perhaps maybe I revisit that at some point in a prototype files video. I don't know. But folks, what do you think of this design? Honestly, I like it, even though I wish the NYR letters were red, like the original logo had. But besides that, I think this would be just fine as a third jersey. I really do. But I'd love to hear your comments down below. Feel free to share them. And I'm going to wrap this video up at this point. With that, take care. Bye for now.